got the love, she coming through tonight. I thought I fuck no move with the fight. Let's put our differences to the side. Let's go. You need a nigga like me, don't hide. I got the love, she coming through tonight. I thought I fuck no move with the fight. Let's put our differences to the side. To the side. I raised you up, don't you lie. I'm not a hustler, I'm out the way. I'm out the way. No bitch, you don't even.
Hello, Thursday. James is ready. He said, hey. Hi. It is me, Mrs. Best, and Watch Your Mouth Reviews. We are here again. I apologize for the glare. The sun's going down, so it's just what we have to deal with. But we are here to go over the Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 13, episode 4. Golly, it's so bad, though. Sorry,
episode
guys.
4.
Season 13. Yes. No? Oh, Lord, I might have wrote the wrong.
Hold on, let me make sure because I feel like this is 3. Hold on.
I just go with what Comcast said, but I could have read it wrong because I set up all of my lives at the same time. But we're here to go over the latest episode of the Housewives of Beverly Hills. That is what we are here to
Oh, no, you're
do.
right. You are right.
Comcast tells me.
You're right.
I'm like, but I could have messed up because I always set like 9 lives up at a
It
time.
just seems like we're 4 episodes in. I feel like nothing has happened yet that makes me feel like we're 4 episodes in. And this is a first for Beverly Hills for me because they usually start out with a bang. So where's the
Usually
bang?
Beverly Hills does do that. They start out really well, and then the middle gets boring, and then like toward the end we get maybe they're actually going to get build up. But let's see, where are my notes? Oh Lord. So friendly reminder to everybody who is on this channel watching, whether you're live replay, I appreciate you. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And when you hear the name Doris, we mean Dorit. We are keeping it going. James does not believe, with her little weird accent, that her name is really Dorit. The British don't want to claim her. The Americans, well, we have no choice but to claim her. The bitch is from Connecticut. But, it seems like no other countries want to claim her. So I think her parents, I know one of her parents are Portuguese. I think her dad is Portuguese and her mom is something else. I can't remember. But Doris was raised in Connecticut, everyone. So when you hear Doris, you know that we're talking about Dorit from Connecticut, creator of Beverly Beach. See, I was nice. Moving it along, we see Doris call PK. And she, he says that he spoke with Mauricio, and I can see that they're trying to drag on the Kyle and Mauricio, divorce. And is it just me? Comment your opinions, please, if you're watching live replay, whether you hear that, comment your opinions. Is it just me, or is anyone else like not really invested in Kyle and Mauricio's divorce?
No, nobody's invested in it because it sounds unbelievable. It sounds believable, but unbelievable. We believe everything that's happening in the blogs, but we don't believe that they are as affected as they claim on this show.
Very good. Very good.
That's how I look at it.
Yeah. Look at me sounding like a damn teacher or lawyer. Very good. Very good. Listen, but I agree with everything he said. Sometimes your friends say stuff and you're like, this is why we're friends. Because that was like the sentence where the comma would go. That's how it was in my mind. I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they're discussing the divorce basically, but not the divorce yet. Because PK went out to, chill, kick it. They got a little bromance with Mauricio. And he was talking about, some of the issues, asking if everything's good with him and Kyle, because obviously they know, as close as they are, your husbands like go on play dates together. I'm pretty fucking sure that Doris and PK are aware of what's been going on. And basically we hear Mauricio say that he doesn't want to fight, so he just lets Kyle be right about a lot of things. And even though I don't take the divorce entirely seriously, I think they really do have issues. There's always been things for the real fans who've watched since season 1. There's always little things, rumors of him cheating, the psychic lady who said that he will never fulfill her, Allison, who is everywhere now. Like, there's been a lot of signs. I think people just get so happy, especially people who are not married or have been divorced. It seems they get so happy and excited to see, people of notoriety who have it all in love that they're so busy chasing that they don't pay attention to the little things. No marriage is perfect. That's why y'all is hurt. The Black community is devastated right now over Will and Jada, but who said that it was perfect? So I feel like the same thing is kind of happening with Kyle and Mauricio.
Wrong comparison.
Yeah, listen. Jada Pinkett is crazy, but I'm saying people.
I don't think she's crazy. I think people are not looking at this correctly. I don't think she's crazy at all.
Really?
I don't. I think people are looking at this completely wrong. I think they're looking at. I think people are looking at it with a bird's eye view of holding Will to some pedestal that he does not need to be on.
I think that's a piece of it. We might need to do a little fun, quick
we
live.
Might because people are not going to agree with me, and that's fine. Yes. Honestly, I don't think she's the crazy one. I don't think neither one of them are crazy. I just think they do what works for them, and because it doesn't look like the society norm, we want to box it and make her look like the bad guy because that's what society does. Always blame the woman, never blame the man.
I could agree. I definitely can agree because people do struggle when things go against the societal norm for what they expect. But then at the same time, she's been caught in a lot of lies recently. And I can't get over the fact that she had an entanglement with her son's best friend. That's weird.
I can't get over it. He had an entanglement with his co-star. There we go. So yeah.
Oh,
so
he did.
Yes, exactly. So we're not going to play these games as if he's innocent and
he's not mad though. That's how you know there's an agreement though, because he is not mad.
He's not. That's why I'm like, y'all, let's move on.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. Exactly. I like that perspective though. Hey, just because you disagree, but you got to respect and hear where other people coming from. Because even if you don't agree, you just said.
I want people to disagree with me, but understand, don't hold one person to one standard and you're not holding the other party to the same. That's all that I am saying. Be fair. Now, if he was completely clean, we would have a different conversation. Yeah. But he has not been. So we're not going to act like, it was okay for him to do it. But it's not okay for her to publicly tell her truth. Oh, okay. Thank you, guys.
I do think though with Kyle and Mauricio, it's interesting. I know some say he doesn't want to fight. He's saying yes because he loves her. But then on the other hand, if you love your spouse,
no, I don't think that's it at all. I honestly think he doesn't want to be held accountable for doing what they probably have agreed to for years. And now I think it was one-sided. Personally, on Mauricio's side, I think it was one-sided. And now that it's coming out and Kyle's getting her taste of whatever this is, he now, wants to be able to still live his life in silence. And that's what he's been doing. And I think that that's where her cry is. It's like, because he wants to be so cautious and so diligent on his moves, it's affecting her even more because now you're embarrassing her to the level of extent because she is a public figure on a national syndicated show. So it's like, no, I honestly think he doesn't want to be held accountable for things they agreed to.
I think that is the cause of most of what people like to, call the reality TV curse when couples come on TV. And I think what you said is the cause of it for a lot of them. It's just different. Like most normal people, we get dressed up, go to a wedding or out to eat, and it's like, oh, we're, having that night publicly. They're living every night that way. So it puts an immense amount of pressure in the relationship. So I feel for both of them, but I still don't care.
I don't care either. That's why I'm like, I don't like Kyle. I'm for anybody on Mrs. Best's channel, the way I feel insincere because I don't like Kyle. Every time I look at Kyle, I look at the lady 12 years ago that was up in that limo with her sister telling her that her mother had to die, worrying about her. I'm sorry, but there's certain things that a sibling should never say. That is one of them. Because that is pain that she's dealing with. And now she has to do an afterthought of what her mother really thought of her on her deathbed. So no, I don't look at Kyle. Kyle, no.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I like that you don't let people forget that. I think people forget that and they fell in love with this exciting Kyle. But Kyle, I see right beneath it. And the other thing, just a side note before we move on from the topic of this, I know families have their issues, but it's a little interesting that it seemed like everybody could get along except for Kyle. Even her kids could get along with them and stuff. But Kyle seems to always be in some shit with her family. So that says a lot. Like at some point, I know not like my family, we're kind of dysfunctional. Somebody always arguing or something. So what people do is they just let it sit quiet, let it sit still,
Right.
things of that nature. Kyle
And
just,
the thing about Kyle that pisses me off too about her situation in this group is that she's not trying to also talk about it, which if we did have any sympathy for her, I honestly feel like it's now gone because you're not saying anything that would make us have compassion for you. What are you really going through? Are you just trying to find yourself because you, in this last 25 years of this marriage, you never knew who you were? Is that what it is? Because that's a normal thing. So if you were to say that, and maybe she's getting to it, maybe we just prejudging her early, but it just seems like Kyle is really just not letting us, as her viewing audience, really understand what is going on. So that way, when we see the things play out in the blogs, everything would have a reason. But she's not doing that. So therefore, I can't really have any empathy for her. Not that I ever would, but I can still have compassion for her viewing her on the show.
Yeah, I agree. Kyle has spent season after season being in everybody else's business, wanting to know about everybody else's marriage, divorces, you name it. But when it comes to her and Mauricio, she's never said or showed much. It's always been very surface. And that is why no one gives a damn that you guys are divorcing now. So that's just where I'm at. So moving on, we see Erica and Sutton, or not Erica and Sutton, child. I'm getting these women mixed up. Erica and Crystal, they go out to eat, and they are still in Vegas. And they discuss what set Sutton off. That's why her name is coming up. So this glare is killing me, you guys. I'm going to do the best that I can or go off camera in a moment. Basically, they discussed Sutton, and everyone felt like she overreacted, which she did. She absolutely did. It did not make sense. But the way that Erica and Sutton discussed, or Erica and Crystal discussed it, was like, okay, we're moving on. They're not, tripping, things like that. And they move on to discussing the demise of Erica's marriage. Listen, Erica, you cried and bitched and moaned and did everything you could to piss off the tabloids and people on the internet because you didn't want to talk about your marriage. You wanted people to mind their business and all of this other shit. And now you want to talk about your marriage. I don't really trust Erica Jane at a dinner with Crystal just because of earlier seasons. I don't trust it. How did you feel about their meet as a whole?
I felt like it was forced.
Yeah.
And I felt like Bravo in that call center with the producers, if you can feedback, if y'all were going to have them break off in pairs, let her break off in a pair where it wouldn't be as awkward as that dinner was, or that lunch was. It was very awkward for them two to sit down there. And as far as Erica's marriage goes to Tom, I hate I have to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway, just because I felt like it would have made more sense to me seeing it. I wish she would have played the white woman syndrome, martyr victim, teary-eyed, using her privilege the way a lot of them do on this show. I think as she did that, then maybe I wouldn't villainize her to this one-eyed monster that I look at her as. But that's really why I just can't really get with her, because I felt like it seemed like you were angry all that shit went away. You were angry versus being like distraught that it went away, which is I'm used to seeing. Like when someone loses all of their access, all of their money, everything, and you have eyes over you everywhere, there's a feeling of distraught that you feel. And I feel that she's being angry and she's using the anger to cope with how she should feel. And I wouldn't be angry about it. I would feel distraught. I would be crying every tear I had in this body, because that was your lifestyle for all these years. Mm-hmm. You have to have some emotion in there somewhere. But we saw with your therapy session with Dr. Jen, you don't have any emotional
How do I get that?
Yeah, it's like you have no emotional strand. And I think that would have helped you. We would have looked at you differently. I feel like you are soulless, and I feel like you don't really care, and you're just going to rebuild this life.
In psychology, we call that a psychopath. Everyone thinks
we know, but I don't want to call... Because it's not like she didn't have a reason to be one. That is what I'm saying. Like, you know how when you call in psychology, we call psychopaths because naturally it's something within them that festers. I feel like this was taught behavior to her.
You think
that she's acting out? I do. When you're with a lawyer who, and I'm glad they showed this in the episode because I felt like that's what it was. There was a snippet of her and Tom in this scene where he was correcting her. I felt like that was the dynamic of their marriage right there. Probably. And I feel like the reward and him investing that money was the rewarding her for good behavior. That's how lawyers think. So that's why I was like, yeah, that's who he really is. And I'm glad y'all showed that. Y'all should have showed that. I just
can't feel sorry for Erica or think we know a behavior is taught. I don't think it's taught. Specifically when it comes to psychopaths, usually what helps define them that is the lack that she showed of empathy. It doesn't always have to be that they do stuff. There's plenty of them among society that are doing. No,
I agree with you.
I don't think she was taught because the reason why is just because of the origin of their relationship. She was young, she was cute, she was in the bar. He said, "What's up?" She seen he had money. She said, "Okay," and they.
You don't think but you don't think her being that young that she wasn't groomed?
She was 34. Wasn't she? She wasn't that young. Wasn't she 30 something? How old was Erica when she got with Tom Girardi?
She was like maybe in her late 20s. I remember the story.
At that age.
But you still could be groomed, though, depending on what you came out of. You have to understand, a lot of women don't understand their mindsets. Men too. I'm just not, don't make y'all in this audience. Do not make this, But a lot of women in that time frame, 20s and 30s, there is a big transitional period of your mindset. So if you have a man in your 20s and he's much older, especially if you have daddy issues,
which she does.
She admitted that. So if you have daddy issues, a lot of the times you look at that older man to groom you. Look at Ashley Darby. Y'all make sure y'all come to my channel to watch Real Housewives of Potomac. She was also groomed until she had no choice but to break away from it because she couldn't take the pressure of society. I'm telling you, Erica had maybe 20 years before she got on TV to where this man was grooming everything that she did. And I could tell based on the reunion. She only had 2 credit cards, she said, to use. He controlled everything.
Yeah.
And if you could control somebody financially and ethically, what makes you think you can't control them emotionally? And that's why I said she is groomed.
I'm sure she's controlled emotionally, but
I can tell in her demeanor, the way she talks like a lawyer.
Yes,
that is top behavior. I'm sorry, you cannot you can't just be influenced in that way and then all of a sudden mimic that. That has to be taught to you. The way her responses are, Eileen, for example, she had a complete sentence in under 2 seconds that was going 15 miles per hour. Only lawyers can do that. I can't even do it, and I study law. I can't even do it. So it's like, no, I'm sorry. There's no way. You're not telling me that man did not groom her.
I don't think it was a groom. I think she probably learned some behaviors from him and things like that, how to behave.
That's still grooming to me.
But in terms of like a full, like when I think of grooming, I think of a lot, like probably a little more intricate. But Erica, either way, the bitch ain't got no empathy, and it scares me. It scares me because she's gonna eventually on this show with how she is, and in my opinion, how she got away with the scandals.
I don't feel like she got away with it. I feel like she's getting her karma, but I feel like this
if I steal something and then send it to you as a Christmas gift, but you don't know that it's stolen and then get caught, you can still get in trouble for receiving stolen property. And
I know I can.
I feel like since she knows, because there's a whole movie on some of the shit he's done, so she knows that he has done some stuff with funds. There's stuff that came out. Who is it? Ronald something was on Kempire and explaining shit in the court. She knew that some of the stuff and money that he gave her for her company was for
I don't discredit that. I know.
But
where else would he?
What I will say, and that's why I say she kind of got off scot-free. She's fine. She wasn't canceled. She's getting her own Bravo spinoff. I'm like,
but here's the thing. We know how Bravo works in favor of white women, which is why I call them the Bravo call center.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Because yes, we know how they favor white women. Ken Zolciak had a TV show for 8 or 9 seasons, and we can't figure out why, because it didn't get the views that it was supposed to keep going. It was boring. And they kept giving her show after show. So either y'all owed her money on the back end and decided to make her a deal, or y'all favor her because she's a white woman.
NBC's been accused a few times. Nene Leakes, go watch her interview, look up her lawsuit. Not everything that lady said was not true. I believe a good amount.
I believe a good 70% of it.
Yeah, that's.
I believe
there's
a good 30%. I'm side
I was
eyeing
gonna
her
say
with
65%. 65%.
No, with Mariah Huck, her lawsuit, what she's alleging, I believe 65% of it. The other, I believe you just didn't know what you were doing. Allegedly,
James.
Allegedly.
So I love that we had that talk about Erica because Erica's like. Sometimes people don't know how to feel, so it's good to just hear the opinions. But regardless of how anybody feels of her, if we feel that she's a scam artist or knew about what happened with Tom, we should all be respectful. Don't y'all net bangers be in comments attacking these people. We don't know them, and reality TV is not all reality. So moving it along, Sutton and Garcelle, they're at the Venetian, and they go, I love Vegas, y'all.
I love Vegas. Yes. I forgot that was there.
Every time I go, I get too drunk and forget to do the gondola. And then the one time we were sober, me and my husband are very cheap. It was on our honeymoon. My dad would have paid. We asked how much the gondola was. We said, hell nah. The fuck?
I can't have him singing like that. I'm sorry. I want to be able to enjoy
then that's the only thing we're talking about. Because obviously Bravo had the ladies break off into pairs that they could get them to agree to. But it was so funny. They was trying to, that man just bust out into song.
He can sing, no, I had to give it to him.
I mean, it's Vegas. Half of the card dealers and the people doing
there's some talented people in Vegas.
Yeah.
One of the things I love, because I go to Vegas 3 times a year, excluding this year. But I love, one of the things I love, everybody does have talent in Vegas. Like, I remember the last time I was in, it was the time before, it's probably 2021-ish, kind of. I went to Vegas, and I will never forget, like, someone was doing the whole Cheetah Girls rendition of Strut. It was 4 girls in 6-inch high heels, literally skipping and singing that song.
Like
yes, and I was like, wow. And I'm surprised because I tried to find them on like YouTube, like Instagram was I was trying to find them on somewhere, and I could not find these girls no matter what I did. And I know somebody had to have gotten them, so that's why I'm like, where is this video?
Probably somewhere stuck in a 360 deal. So we did see Kyle and Doris meet up, and when the two of them meet up, I guess Doris wants to discuss with Kyle her choice to not drink. Basically, Doris feels that Kyle is a little less fun, and Kyle says that some of the other ladies have felt the same. What are these bitches like? Listen, when I go to Vegas, I wouldn't have been up to make it to breakfast the next day. Usually we just like DoorDash or call room service up.
First of all,
what is her idea of fun? I'm like, Dorit, Kyle, while she's not sloppily doing the splits, like that's the thing. Kyle was on TV, like it wasn't just drunk. She was sloppy a few times. So I can understand Kyle's choice to not want to drink. That's what I want to say first. The second thing I want to say is Dorit, in my opinion, has never been fun. Not to watch. Doesn't look like she's fun to go out with. She doesn't seem fun. She seems like she would talk a lot. And I don't want to deal with that. So I just felt that was very, very strange. But what I did not like is Kyle explained her choice to not want to drink. She's obviously behaving like somebody who's going through a breakup. Clearly, for women, if you know, she's exercising, she's eating, she's not drinking, and she seems agitated with her spouse when he's around. Like, if this woman does not want to drink, then who the hell are you to feel the need to have a conversation with her about it? Here's my thing. If your friends choose to, let's say if you smoke weed, if your friend don't smoke weed, I smoke every day. James don't, right? We don't have conversations about that. If I stop smoking, he's not going to have a conversation with me about it. It's just going to be that.
No, I'm going to be like, good for you. I'm happy that you are, not to say there's anything wrong with smoking.
Yeah, but it's just I don't see.
But it's just like, if you felt like you needed to make that decision for you, I'm happy that you came to that decision.
Support
the problem with Dorit, or Doris, excuse me, the problem with Doris is that Doris does not have good boundaries when it comes to anything. And that's why I cannot deal with her. Like, I understand. I do not like Doris. I really wish they would have let her go 3 or 4 seasons ago.
She was supposed to be gone, and then her house conveniently got robbed. Yeah, I said it, and I don't care. All you people angry in the comments, I don't.
It's too many holes in that story for me. I'm sorry,
it's too many holes. Yeah.
Just like this last incident with the $10,000 in the purse.
We threw $10,000 to go shopping. Why didn't you use your card?
What's wrong with you? Yeah, what's wrong with your Amex, Dorit?
What's going on?
I'm gonna say Dorit. Yeah, come on. No, because Doris ain't. I know Doris ain't got that. Dorit has that. Dorit, what happened to? Where's your Amex? Why you couldn't put 10,000 on that?
Girl, where is your Chase Visa? Something.
Right.
It don't even have to be
something. Yeah. Because like that sounds crazy to me. So like I said, that in that home invasion just sounds like there's too many holes.
And she doesn't realize what she's saying. But like, if there's anybody who works for Internal Revenue Service, and I want you guys to know that I pay and file my taxes on time every year, and I have full respect for you as a company and as people who work for it. Y'all ain't coming for me, government. But if someone's watching, that's a little weird because most people don't want to, especially in today's world, most people don't want to have just large amounts of cash on them unless they're at Magic City. Like, it's just not what people want to happen. So that's a little strange. It looked like you didn't want a transaction track, no paper trail. That's my opinion. But Doris goes a step further after, in my opinion, chastising Kyle about her choice not to drink. That's like the worst thing you could say too. Like, my friend's choosing to do something that's going to impact their health in a positive way. You know that she's potentially going through something with your husband. So why would you chastise her and make it seem as though her not drinking is a negative because she's less fun for you? That is the most selfish, shallow, and words that I can't fucking think of right now thing that Doris could have said to her. And I thought that was a deeper thing. And that's why none of these women should be able to trust her and she shouldn't be on our screens. So they then speak about Kyle's marriage. And let me just sum it up. So Kyle basically feels, apologies, y'all. Kyle basically feels like because Mauricio is in sales, she's having to make constant appearances and go to events and, be on his arm. He's in real estate. That is what the agency is for those who are unsure. Now, here's my thing. You tired of having to appear and be there for your husband, but you're not tired of being on this show. And we wish you were, because people have been asking your ass to leave this show for years, Kyle. Why are you going to sit here and say you're tired of appearances when this man has to appear on a reality show just living his personal life because you want to be famous? Girl, bye. Bitch, please. What the hell? It doesn't make any sense to me. It just doesn't. Do you feel the same, or if I way off?
I've always felt like this. I've always felt like she is just playing intricate because the problem is, this is what it is. I'm going to tell you now. She's using that job as a scapegoat to hide what he may be actually doing. And that is what, and because it does not make sense. He has to go on red carpets with you. He has to go to all these Bravo events with you.
He's on Dancing with the Stars.
He's on Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, because of you. So why all of a sudden now is that the problem? What is the real issue, Kyle? We need to know. There's no way that's the real issue. I don't believe that.
And she said it herself. He had nothing and went and worked with her sister and Rick Hilton. They helped him to get where he's at. So he came into this. Kyle has been famous since the 80s. So he came into this having to be with somebody who he has to constantly make appearances for. So now when you have to do the same thing for your husband in return, now you have a problem. But this is why they're separating. So I won't, like, normally I would go in if she was just saying this about her husband and they were staying married, but they're separating. And what I would have said is, well, if you feel that way, you don't like your nigga, you need to go. But it looks like that's what it is. James is laughing, but it's that simple.
Because it's like, yeah, it is, but damn, you had to do it all like that.
I mean, if you don't like your man, leave him. If you don't like your bitch, leave her. It's that simple. People make things so much more complicated because people feel
like because somewhere, some auntie of ours somewhere that's bitter and alone and got 177 cats told us that we have to have a valid reason, and it can't just because he whooping our asses and making us have low self-esteem and everything like that. No, you have to have, he has to almost put a knife to your throat and poke you a little bit in order for you to leave. That's a good man, Savannah girl. That's a good man.
And
He's
as
just
much
having a
plastic
rough time.
surgery as Kyle gets, she is a woman of a different generation, and they did believe and feel that way about marriage.
That. And it went through all ethnicities. It wasn't just black people that thought like this. White women think like this. Asian women think like this. Indian women think like this. All ethnicities.
This makes me appreciate being a millennial. I know we went backwards with the Roe v. Wade, but at the very least, at least as women now, we can leave a man and not be entirely effed over.
It's getting there. It's not there yet. The people are getting there. They're not there yet. We still got some fools that still believe that auntie somewhere down the line.
Well, no, I'm saying they have the ability. Like, you have the ability.
No, I don't agree with that. No, I feel like women are making strides not to tolerate it, but they're still in the relationship with them because they want to give these men. I'm telling you, you got to be done with people and just be gone. Cut your like a lot of people. What it is, a lot of people are afraid to cut their losses and go. That's just really what it is.
Though, I know most of the females I know who are married, or unfortunately, I know a lot of chicks who got divorced. Some of them are older, various age. They all just, when they was done, didn't like
that. Might be a different story for different. We're talking about putting up with like irrational behavior. We're not talking about, okay, we've just grown apart.
I know, but I feel like women are
that's not the same thing
better at putting up with irrational behavior too, because I have several females that I know that don't have tolerance for it. A lot of them too have gotten to a point now where they're actively, I think as my friends are getting older, past 30 now, they are not tolerating that as much.
Which is good. I feel like we need to start that trend, like irrational, like come correct or don't come at all, because we have a short life. We have a short life. It is, as much as life is long, it is very short. So why live it miserable?
Turtles live longer than us.
Right? Hell, turtles are the malfunctioning dinosaur these days. Hell, we know.
I always call them the grandfathers of Earth. I love turtles.
Right.
I really do.
I hate them, but that's okay.
Really?
Absolutely. Move on.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. You must have got snapped by one. So Garcelle,
I used to own them, yes. So,
turtles are mean.
They are mean. Yes, they are mean. So yes.
That's why I like them. I've been told that I'm mean. My husband actually just told me that I'm mean. So apparently I'm mean. I feel like I'm very nice. I don't think I'm mean. I'm just not to be played with.
No, I feel like you're testy, if anything. I don't feel like you're mean. I just feel like you're testy. You're just testy, just a little bit.
I love James. I just do. You understand me. Yes. Garcelle and Sutton talk after their lunch. Let me look down at my notes. And she speaks about her son, Oliver. And we're reminded that, Oliver was a part of the pump rules scandal, the Scandival. I'm not going to discuss that here. I don't recap that show. I love Vanderpump Rules. And I feel like Scandival, like I'm tired of talking about it.
Yeah, it's like move on. Like y'all trying to pull shit out of everywhere. It's like, oh well, he kissed her. So like, what?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I don't recap that show because I'm pretty much how you feel about Love and Marriage. While you don't recap it, I am not trying to.
No, I don't recap Love and Marriage Huntsville because there's these thirsty ass, pick me ass women on here that want to defend an old fuckboy like Martell Holt and think that when we giving our honest opinion from based on what we're looking at with our own two eyes, y'all want to tell us it's something different and want to blame Melody Holt over there. Or Melody Rogers, excuse me. She went by her maiden name. Let me come correct. I don't review that show for that reason, not because of what you just said. So I want to make sure we're clear.
The audience, the Scandival fans, like they are dedicated. They are some true net bangers, and I don't want to deal with it. I don't have time.
I don't feel like dealing with y'all thirsty ass fucking pick me ass women that want to defend Martell ass over some fuck shit that he actually does.
He said, like, "Oh Lord, yes. he done got into the emotions." So
yes, I did. Sorry, y'all. I had to just
it's okay. At least you're passionate. That's why you're recapper. That's why you're here. I love it. I'm here for it. So we did see who meets. Garcelle and Sutton meet, and the Oliver thing, but it seemed like Garcelle just wanted to defend her child publicly and explain when he kissed that girl, he was separated. And the reason we bring up the Scandival is because he was like the one person who
I didn't realize that was her son. When I saw that story, I understand that, but I didn't realize that was the same man. I did not realize that until I actually saw what he looked like and saw the tattoo, and that's like I said, oh, that's Garcelle's. damn.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
Garcelle,
Garcelle,
like, who the fuck cares? Like, yeah.
And my
Garcelle,
thing,
you didn't.
Garcelle, you can't, if you don't feel that your kids are safe around the women on this show, then don't have any of your kids
on TV.
On TV.
My thing is this: your son didn't do anything to me that felt like it was so excruciating for the blogs to drag them the way they did. But at the same time, you ain't got nothing to prove to us. We know what the fuck happened. We can clearly see what it is. You didn't have to defend him. We was gonna stand with you regardless. So you didn't have to defend him.
Lord child. So that's all we'll say on that. It was kind of like, But anywho, then we see who we see next. Then we see everybody go out to eat. And pretty much the whole group is asking Kyle, like, oh, they order their drinks and she orders a mocktail. And they're like, how long are you going to keep this up? Garcelle says, and then everyone, chimes in. And, she says, like, just let it be. And I mean, Kyle, stop talking in your confessionals. Maybe people would want you to stay more if half the shit you say in your confessionals, if you find a way to say it to them. Like, if you want them to let it be, then say, like, guys, please stop talking about this. It makes me uncomfortable. Like, let it be. It's going to go on for as long as I need it to go on. I just don't understand that. So then they play this stupid ass game in a public restaurant, which to me was a disaster. I feel like they're trying to take from other, Bravo shows where they see people play games. It wasn't fun to watch. It wasn't even like on Potomac when they play games, it's going to become messy as hell, shady. But I feel like with these, I just didn't care. So a question gets asked on a little ass stupid card about if monogamy is natural, for people. And everyone starts answering and they're looking around at Kyle and the camera. And I don't really want to comment on that too much because I don't care. I really don't. The game was boring to watch. It did not give, and it felt unnatural for this cast to do from what we're used to. We didn't see a question asked about infidelity, and we're reminded of what Garcelle did when she found out her man was cheating on her. She aired that ass out as she should have. Because
I wasn't mad at all when she did
I'm not mad at you. So, and the question was, is one time of infidelity enough to be done? And yeah, well, we know for Garcelle the answer to that question. She didn't play. Yes. She didn't play. She did not play. I think that's how you should be. You cheat once, you'll cheat again. Go. That's my personal opinion. Anyhow, so the game was messy. It was also boring. I didn't quite understand like half of the questions, but then Erica starts talking about how she has anxiety and some type of stress, strife around, paying bills. She's like, just as fast as I get the money is as fast as it goes.
Mm-hmm. Because someone says, does money make you more happy, or how much money will make you? And it was some shit like that. Yeah, that's why I was like.
She says she has anxiety around like making money and, paying her bills. And let me say this to you. I think James knows it's coming. I'm going to try and find a nice way. I got a problem with people who are financially secure, stable, well off, whatever term, rich, whatever term you may use. I have a problem with you speaking about nerves, about being able to afford a bill. How the fuck do you think that the retail worker at your local Chanel or Target feels about their money? This is a part of being an adult. This is why people don't empathize with you. This is why we can't give you the empathy that you lack. Because what in the actual what? This couple really talked about she feels stressed about bills when what you make in a season of this show, many people don't make in a year. So I'm wondering, Erica, if you realize what you hear, but we know she didn't because she lacks empathy. So I can't even drag the girl for it, but that bothered me. That bothered the hell out of me, James. It irked every soul that I had. How did you feel about that opinion?
I have no comment on that. Honestly, I didn't. Just because it's foolery and fuckery and stupidity at its most. I don't have any comments on that. We can move on.
Let me see. Leona said, whoa, Amina. Listen, that lady, she has no clue. This bitch ain't, listen, last time she worked, She was grabbing Girardi in that bar. That's all I'm gonna say. So leave it there. So anyhow, so I don't feel sorry for Erica or Kyle. Like, I know that they kind of filmed it to where maybe we should have like felt. I can't feel sorry.
Yeah, and we don't.
No,
yeah,
not at all. The next thing we see is the ladies go to Gillies, which is basically a bar, like a little cowboy bar. They do the line dancing. I like places like that, by the way.
Me too. That's why I was like, I have to check that place out.
One black person in the room.
I wouldn't care. I would learn the line dances, slapping that leather, whatever that shit is called. I'm going to do it. Yes.
That's it. Listen, that's exactly. I love shit like that. So they go in, they have their little cowboy hats. They're all dressed to impress. I do like that about Beverly Hills. The ladies usually participate and adhere to dress codes, which is cool because on some other networks they don't. But we then see that Sutton, who says she loves the honky tonky bar in a place like that, now she's doing the same thing that Sutton does. And I love Sutton. She is me and James's favorite. So, and this is why you love her, because she's so unique. She's gonna do her, and you gotta appreciate it, but she'll still handle her anger with class. So she's nervous about the bull. And I've never done the mechanical bull, but I have seen it while out. And usually they do a little more. The guy was actually pretty nice and lenient.
He was absolutely nice. I fell off mine within 15 seconds. I was for the lie. But no, within 15 seconds, and I was done. I fell right off that motherfucker. So I'm just saying he was being extremely nice with both Kyle and both Sutton getting their old asses on that damn thing. And I felt like, and he was very like energetic and entertaining. When he actually stood on that damn mechanical bull and was riding like a surfboard, I was like, I could do that. No, I can't. But I want to learn how to do that. Like that was cool to me. I enjoyed that scene so much. Like
the people who they showed, the staff at these hotels, epic, wonderful customer service. If your bosses are watching, take a clip of this, give it to them, get you
absolutely get you your raise. Tell them I want 100% of my take home tips. I want it all, because we know Vegas. I know how y'all get down. Y'all don't get these workers all full percentage of them tips. I know y'all don't. So that's why I'm saying, make sure he got to take home whatever he earned that night. Make sure he took that shit home. And if he didn't, y'all better reimburse him for everything, because that was very entertaining. And I guarantee y'all, based on his performance, y'all are going to get a whole lot more customers within the next 6 months. Absolutely. So he better take home every fucking dime he got out of that thing. And I said what I said.
Sutton was nervous, but she hopped on. She didn't want him to carry her. And for those who are like, why is she acting like that? Go to the South. That's all I'm going to say.
I was going to say, yeah, that's not that hard to figure out. That was getting on my nerves.
They get on my nerves coming.
Why she's such a prude? And it was Erica in the confessional for me. Oh, Sutton, that's like your bedroom game. No wonder you only last the first date. I said,
we can't trust a woman that can't pull nobody.
I said, Erica, when Sutton, let me explain something to you, Erica. Hold on. Erica, you listening? Okay. When Sutton got divorced, her husband wasn't in no big ass fucking scandal that robbed you blind. Sutton gets $300,000 a month in spousal support. She also got she also got $1.5 million in cash up front.
And assets.
And assets, including the 2 minor league baseball teams her husband owned, is still part of hers as well. She got to keep that. So I don't want to hear about whatever Sutton did in the bedroom, because obviously it was enough to keep that husband for 20 fucking years and to end up with that shit she got after she left the motherfucker. So I don't really care about that. Erica pissed me off when she said that, because it was like, how dare you?
The other thing, I don't want to hear shit from a bitch that's pulling great grandpas.
Right, at least her husband was her same age.
She was literally married to bad grandpa. The movie became real life. Listen, Erica Jane thought that she gave with that comment. She swore she read Sutton for filth, and all she did was remind us of the fact that she had to help her man with a cane before she could bend over to take it, because that's the only way he would be able to do something. And I know that she had to ensure that Viagra prescription with CVS. She had to make sure, because without that pill, they can't do nothing. They can't. don't come for nobody's sex life and how they feel. You never know. The quietest people could be the nastiest.
I'm trying to tell you,
you
hell, Sutton may be a whole bedroom acrobat up in this here.
Listen, she has children and was married for a very, very long time.
So that's what I'm saying. Sorry, and I didn't hear about that man cheating.
Nope. And he ain't complain about having to pay her. He obviously
was willing to do
love enough to be willing to. So listen, Erica,
with that shit.
Be quiet or go take a victim on a vacation or something of your grandpa. How about that? So moving it along, after they go to the bull ride, and I loved it because it was like finally a scene where they're just having fun and no drama. We then see them leave and they run into Mikey, who's he's on her glam squad. I don't like to give the people on her squad too much attention because I haven't really taken the time to get to know them. I don't care. No shade. They seem like the stereotypical gay men, if that makes sense. And to me, it doesn't show me like who they are as like people individually. So I don't really care for her team. Now, Sutton's house manager, I'm here for him. And I pray for him because sometimes I know she drives him crazy. We'll get to that later. But the ladies leave. They run into Mikey in the elevator and he's with his man who is a part of the Magic Mike show that they were at. And Erica does this nasty thing where she took the Lord's name, God, in vain, and was saying, he gave me the opportunity for revenge. Erica, shut the fuck up. That's so offensive. God is not out here making ways for people to have revenge. That's not how we're supposed to think of life. That's not how we're supposed to think of things. Her confessional was weird. I didn't get it. She was like, you say 1 minute, Erica, that you've changed and you're trying to work on yourself. No beef with people. But then you say that God made Mikey pop up so that you could say something to Sutton. But I thought you weren't bothered and weren't tripping. So now because you see him, you suddenly tripping? Bitch, bye. It doesn't make any sense, Erica. It makes no sense. So she says to Mikey, oh, good. Now you can tell him how you didn't like the show and all this other stuff. And Sutton's like, I didn't say I didn't like them or any of that. And she didn't. She did flip out, and Sutton did do too much at that show, but she did not insult the cast of the show. They made it seem like just because that front row of women left, like there wasn't a whole stadium and audience of people. It's just the cast. Y'all aren't as important as you think. Because if you were, they'd be filming little scenes of people stopping. Can we get a picture? And that's not happening as it has with other people in Housewives who have gone to Vegas. So what you feel about that elevator?
I'm not going to comment because we got to get to my lives and we're going to be here all night. If I open this mouth and say what a ridiculous fucking piece of shit that lady is right now for saying that. Like, I cannot. So I'm not going to do it.
Erica's excuse as to why she did and said that is she says, this lady has been mean to me for years. And it's like, Erica, you forget that the reason that she's been mean to you is because you were mean to her. She did her job and asked you simple questions that many people ask. But
well, first of all, and let me second on that because Nana got riled up now. She only did it is because she's affiliated with you on a TV show. So because she has an affiliation with you, she checked with her lawyers to make sure that because of this TV show, there is no involvement in the scandals that your husband had. So, or have, because it hasn't been resolved yet. Have. And furthermore, that was her right. And because she questioned you because your stories had way too many fucking holes in them, she felt like that was her due diligence because, hey, I need to see what kind of character witness I need to be for you in case somebody questions me about the bullshit, because that is a rightfully thing to do. Lawyers do that. And let me explain something to y'all, for y'all Erica Jane fans out there that are just loving her blindly. Lawyers do go to coworkers and ask them character questions about the person they plan to prosecute. District attorney offices do it all the time. So I am sorry. I was with Sutton. That's why she became my favorite housewife, because she took no expense at making sure that everybody was aware of what these cases were and what kind of questions they need to ask Erica in case somebody asked them. Now, easily Erica could have said, we could have just went with a no comment. Yeah, she could have, absolutely. But it doesn't do her no due diligence to do that, because at the end of the day, she's still affiliated with you on the show, and that could have a repercussion all within itself. So no, I'm sorry. She didn't do anything to you. No, she didn't do anything. She didn't tell you and your husband to go out there and do all that shit. No, she didn't do any of that. She asked the questions as, are you lucky I'm not on the fucking show with you? Because I would have been 10 times worse.
That's why I always said that Erica, they need to move her to another franchise, because the stuff that she does with these women, she wouldn't dare do with anybody else. I think Erica's a bully, but everybody who's on my channel knows that. So after Erica pulls that bullshit, they get in the bus and they speak about marriage again. The bus rides are frustrating for me. Then they move away from that and on to, Sutton, and they all pretty much, in my opinion, ganged up on her and were questioning her about something that's been settled. She says she didn't want to talk about it, and in my opinion, if someone says they don't want to talk to you about something, then don't fucking talk to them about it. And they were all trying to back Erica, as they always do. They like to go sniffing around her coochie and her latex and all of that, and it's old. I'm tired of it, and I wish the productions, I'll call out the Bravo call center now, needs to stop that, because since Sutton has came on this show, people have fallen in love with her, and I feel like from the very beginning, this cast has been kind of shady to her. If they're not laughing at her accent, they're talking about her body. If they're not talking about her body, they're laughing at the fact she can't get a second date. And then when they're not doing that, they're cornering her in situations, and nobody ever has her back except for Garcelle. So, yeah, and sometimes Crystal, if she has a back spine that day. But, it is what it is. So, Sutton eventually breaks down, crying. And I think that's what they wanted. I don't think those women would have stopped until Sutton was crying, until she was upset and viscerally emotional. And that to me is whack. And that's what makes you a bully, whether you do it by yourself or in a group. That's not okay. Garcelle mentions it. They continue talking about it, even though this woman is in tears and says she doesn't want to talk about it. And Garcelle then says to Doris that she wishes that Doris would have followed out after Sutton as well, because Doris has a problem with wanting to insert herself in stuff or not be there for others, but then she expects everybody to listen to her essays of opinions. And I'm glad that Garcelle said something to Dorit, because she was having the most opinions on the Sutton thing, and she's the only person who did not run out and stayed in the show. So why are you commenting? Erica can say something because she invited you. Garcelle ran out after her. Kyle seen it. Crystal even came out, and it was her birthday. The only person who didn't do anything and had no worth was Doris. So it's like, why are you talking about this, Doris? It doesn't make sense. So Garcelle speaks to Doris and tries to respond after asking her a question. And Doris does the same, and I'm saying it, white Karen woman bullshit. Don't yell at me, Garcelle. She's speaking at the same tone and level as you. This woman was not yelling at you, but you want to play like you feel attacked and like she's the aggressive Black person. I'm calling you out, Dorit. I'm saying it. And anybody who feels differently, if you're not a Black person, shut the fuck up and put your cigarette out, honey, because you don't understand my experience until you have this shit that won't wash off. And that's how I feel. I know women like Dorit. I'm from California, done kicked it in those areas. There's a lot of people who do and throw what's called microaggressions around, little things that are little tidbits and stings about, racial, to make fun of these stereotypes or something. Like Black women are characterized as loud and aggressive and angry. And she tried that shit with Garcelle. Now, NBC, Bravo, I'm not surprised, because your network for years, there was a time a lot of people was turned off from Bravo because of the issues of that. But I didn't like seeing that on the screen. I'm not going to say too much more on it unless you wanted to comment on it. But
no, we beat this dead horse.
Yeah,
let's finish this out. Yeah,
that's awful. Well, it's not a dead horse. That's a whole separate part of it. But I still have other scenes I'm gonna go over too. So then, following that, Doris is asking Sutton after Garcelle checks her, "Are you finished? Are you finished? Are you finished?" And everyone knows that's just going to escalate anybody, not just Sutton.
I feel like she was just so condescending. And what I mean by the dead horse is telling Dorit, she's going to do this white woman thing where, yes,
that was a clear microaggression that they aired, and it pissed me off.
And
I'm so tired of
and we know they're going to do that because you have to understand they're not going to see it the same way we do, which is why I said that's beating a dead horse. They're never going to see it that way. Yeah, absolutely. They know what they're doing. That's why it kills me when white women are like, that's not a privilege. Yes, that is. The fact that you can do that at your job and get away with it is an absolute privilege. That is a microaggression. You're being condescending to the Black woman after you have charged her with, an alliance with this woman who is obviously upset. And we all know Sutton is on some fuck shit with that. We all agree to that. But at the same time, what we're saying is that why is it that your behavior is okay, but if Garcelle were to do it, it would be her yelling at you or her demeaning you in some kind of way. It's not fair. It never will. That's why I said we're beating a dead horse, but because they're talking about it, because
I think it's worth it to talk about whenever there's a microaggression or anything like that. My daddy would kick my ass if I did. I'm gonna talk about it because the only way we'll overcome it, we can't go crazy, we can't fight it. All we can do is call it out, and hopefully somebody will see it and say something. And eventually they'll get rid of Doris because
hopefully I've been praying Doris get rid of this show. She should have left with Teddy.
They wouldn't have had a show. Who else would they? If they needed new housewives, but I don't think they wanted to bring.
They don't need no new housewives. They fine with the 5 that they had, and all they needed was 2 friend ofs, and we was good. They don't need we do Real Housewives of Potomac. Real Housewives of Potomac has 8 flute. Whatever peach, whatever the fuck they hold in the intro, have 8 cast members fully. That is too many women. It was too many. 5 is just enough. 6, fine. But as soon as we get to 7 and 8, you're doing too fucking much. We can't follow all those storylines.
No, you know what? I fully agree with that because that's how I think that's why New Jersey has done well
because they have less housewives.
Never more than 5 housewives, never. But them women, that's a lot of personalities. Moving along, everybody leaves Vegas. I was kind of happy they left Vegas because I felt like if they stayed there, they would have kept talking about they don't do well on trips. Mm-hmm. No one does well on trips. So, Erica and Garcelle met up, which I thought was weird. But let me see. Wait. No, they did not meet up. Hold on, y'all. They did meet up. They meet up, and Garcelle basically, I'm like, they met. They kept breaking everybody into pairs, and I think that my brain is because why are they doing this? People who don't like each other is hanging out. But Erica and Garcelle do meet up in Beverly Hills, and they have tea and all of that. And Garcelle and them, basically, in my opinion, they had a conversation about Doris. They say that they both agreed that she talks too much. It seems like no one on the cast really likes Doris except for Kyle, and everyone is tired of her. But Garcelle does ask Erica why she chose to go after Sutton later versus in the moment expressing herself. And Erica gave some bullshit ass excuse about, she's working on herself and these things are going to come, something about being Catholic. And I just wanted her to keep drinking her mint tea. So I'll move on from that. So the last thing we see is fake ass Kyle comes to see Sutton. And this is a meeting that I knew would not go well. Kyle and Sutton, I don't know why they act like they're close. I don't think that they are that close. I think that Kyle is also a bitch. And I think Sutton may have figured that out and was dreading her. And before Kyle came to that house, we see Sutton in her pantry. She was trying to be slick with the handle of Kettle One, pouring it into a cup. And she filled the cup up more than halfway and then gave it a splash of ocean spray. Talk about she wanted a cocktail. Then Kyle comes over. Kyle doesn't want to drink, but Sutton's telling her house dude, I want a cocktail. And I felt like she was lit throughout this whole scene. I don't think Sutton was sober at all. And if I can see it, I'm sure Kyle can see it since she's sober and in clear mind now. So, it was interesting because Sutton says she had a revelation when they get to talking. Sutton said she had a revelation that Kyle will never defend me. She said Kyle will never defend her. And I'm like, you're just now having this revelation.
I was going to say, I said, what's in that Kettle One?
Kyle doesn't defend people.
That took you down to drink to start sipping on that shit for you to figure that out, girl.
He doesn't defend his sisters.
Right. She threw her own sister
Nobody's
the bus
safe.
to spare mama. Like, what the fuck?
Nobody is safe with Kyle. I don't think.
Yeah, nobody's safe.
She might defend her kids, but
yeah, that's it.
I don't think
that's it. That's all. Yeah. It's her kids. That's it.
It's just a mess. So basically,
I love this scene. I'm sorry. This was my favorite scene of the whole episode. I rewinded it. I laughed. I clapped. I said, "Get her, Sutton." I didn't give.
Kyle tries with Sutton. Kyle does this with people. In my opinion, she thinks she could get away with. No, be quiet. Stop talking. I said, you don't tell somebody they being rude in their house. Okay, you don't tell somebody to be quiet in their house.
I was killed. Sutton said, name it. Name it. Name it. Name him. And she kept doing this shit. And I was like, yes, get her ass. Because Kyle was getting so frustrated. She was like, I said, no, don't take that foot off that neck. You dig that shit.
I was proud of Sutton for finally standing up for herself. If it takes a couple shots of Kettle One, then honey, drink it more often and have you a counselor on the side to make sure it don't turn into nothing, because Kyle needed someone to come on her neck. And I think that's why she got so upset. Before we end the live, all I can say, because James covered the name them, so I'm not going to go back over that because it was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. I had to let that out because
I hollered. Listen, I rewinded it too. That shit was funny. But what I will say is Sutton made a good point in her revelation. She said to Kyle, you never defend me. You never defend me. Kyle said, what are you talking about? I defend everybody. I said, So we'll end the show on this note. The reason that Lisa Vanderpump, LVP, left the Housewives of Beverly Hills, if you go back and watch, is because she did not feel defended by Kyle. And they had the closest and longest relationship outside of the show.
Yes.
There has been a couple of people who have left this show and have commented publicly after leaving the show that part of the reasons they feel ganged up on. Kyle aligns with people, and then she, in my opinion, does the most and attacks them. So she is the reason a cast member has actually left this show, and we got to watch it, hear about it, and there's proof in it. So she doesn't defend people, but you know, it is what it is. She don't really have to defend them. But Sutton, you had your revelation. You better keep this same revelation when you're sober, honey, that the revelations don't just leave you now. Do not trust Kyle. So that's the recap of the Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 13, episode 4. I don't know what I'm doing next week yet with my videos, but I will figure it out more than likely next Monday, Tuesday, the week after Thanksgiving. I'll probably start doing lives, post them all of those days. But we're going to head over to James's channel. I can't remember what we're recapping.
We're doing Bell Collective first.
Oh, good. I like Bell Collective. All right, we're doing Bell Collective. Head over to Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel. Let me put it on the screen for those who do not know how to find him. It's very easy. Now you have no excuse. That is. And I appreciate everybody for watching. Happy holidays and adios.
Bye guys.